Aloha and welcome to the Local My Life, guys. And yes, on cue, the dogs start barking. Actually, no, they've been barking the last 30 seconds or so. I think they've now figured out what I do in the last few minutes leading up to live. So treats for the dogs to shut them up. And aloha, gang, and welcome to Missing Mondays. Have the story of a 21-year-old I wanted to share with you guys today. This person's been missing for over 2 weeks now and is not getting much coverage anywhere, even in his local area. And that needs to change. We need to get this story out there. Let me say some quick highs before we move into his story. To those of you popping on in, let's do some quick highs. Let's see. Where is Michagan? Yes, I hear you, little girl. Hello, Miss Cristola and JP. How you doing, my dear? And we got all three. Yes, three of my favorite people right here. So, and JP has been working on his channel like crazy. Really did. I had a live the other day. I know KK's working on her channel, and we know Cristola's been doing amazing on hers. And Dog Defender is here. Hey, Dog Defender. I'd highlight your comment, but it hasn't pulled up in StreamYard yet because StreamYard is slow. There we go. Now I can say hi to Dog Defender. Hey, gang. And aloha. As I mentioned, we have a story from today that I've told you guys usually Mondays I wake up and I start looking for stories that need to be covered. People that we may not have heard of recently or people who have not had their story told at all. And I came across Midonyis's story, and there's been a lot of things that led up to this. Failures on certain levels, systematic failures on some levels. And again, we talk about this all the time, where families don't know where to start. Okay, their loved one goes missing and they're stuck. They don't know, what do I do? They think, okay, that you report it to the police and then the police run with it and it gets on the news and stuff and all that. And like many of us have found out, that's not the way it really does happen most of the time. And it's sad because it should be more automatic like that, because the family needs to focus on their loved one, not on all of these other things that are going on. Okay, they don't need to be worrying about, okay, where are we going to search tomorrow? Okay, how do I get posters out? How do I get the news to pick up the story? Things like that. Those are things that those of us who follow missing people, we kind of get some of the stories about, but a lot of these people don't. And this is the story of a family who truly doesn't. They're trying to live day by day by day. Okay, they still have normal life to go through, but now they're going through it worried about what has happened to their loved one, what has happened to Midonyis. So we're going to talk a little bit about his story. I'm going to share things. We just had our dear Savage and Sleuth Mom pop up. Hey, gang. Yeah, for those of you who follow these stories, if you guys can really help us with getting this story out, there is very little out there right now on him. And a lot of times, you know how it is. We hear about someone who is in either runaway age or certain things, and people don't take it seriously. This is one of those cases. People are not taking it serious because it's a 21-year-old. But the problem is here, this is a 21-year-old who is having to deal with things from a different way of thinking process. So that's what I kind of wanted to go through with that. So let me pull up his poster real quickly. So this is Midonyis. Midonyis Cosby, a.k.a. Rico Santana. He is a 21-year-old out of Saginaw, Michigan. Now, story for Midonyis started, about 16, 17 days ago. Actually, before that is when it really started. Midonyis lives with his mom, grandmother, spends a lot of time with his grandma and all. He is 21 years old, but he is dealing with like so many other people, mental health challenges. He is diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic. And as such, he's always been under the wing and the loving arms of his family. Okay, we know what that's like when your family member has a challenge. You pull them into your arms and you try to support them as much as you can there. Well, what happened with Midonyis is a couple weeks ago, he'd been living with family for a while, and they'd been wanting to get him into a program to work with the issues he was fighting. Okay, as a paranoid schizophrenic, you're dealing with a lot of issues. Same if you got anxiety, depression, all these things. And they'd been asking him, trying to motivate him to get to do that. And guys, he took the stand on his own that, you know what? I'm ready. I want to get help now. I want to go into a treatment center and get the help I need to come out on the other side. Okay, so he and his family went into the hospital. That's where you have to go to admit yourself into one of these programs. And he went into the hospital. While he was there, he was like, yep, this is what I want to do. At the time, one of the nurses at the hospital said, do you want to sign one of these petitions so that once he gets into the okay, he can't just leave on his own or things like that. Mom signed one of these forms, Hey in the Bushes and Hey BC. And then they left. Okay, the last time Midonyis' mom saw him was at the hospital with all the fears and anxiety of knowing that you're going into an in-treatment program. And that was one of her last real memories of him. They thought he would be in the hospital for 30 days. Work on medication, balancing stuff. Hello, Jingles. When you're dealing with medications, any of us who've even dealt with depression, we know your first time on meds are not always what we think they're going to be. Okay, medications, especially mental health level, psychiatric medications, are a totally different type of monster. What works for one person does not work for others. And what works for one person may not always work for that person. So they thought he'd be in there for 30 days, and they thought they'd get the phone call when the time was for him to come home and all that. However, 7 days after his admission into the facility, he was discharged. He did not, from what my understandings are right now, he allegedly just was discharged. They're like, okay, you've reached the level that you need to reach and all that. We are discharging you from the rehab facility, from the psychiatric inpatient facility. And when that occurred, it wasn't even the type of thing, let's contact the family or anything to get them to come pick you up or anything. He actually showed up at his, at grandma or mom's house, I think grandma's house, in a vehicle. No one even knew who it was who even dropped him off, but he had a vehicle, he was in a vehicle and he was dropped off near the house and he walked the rest of the way and that was it. So there's a lot of stuff that went on during that time, but long story short, after 7 days, he had been discharged. He had medication, so he was discharged on November 3rd. So that gives you an idea where we are time frame now. On November 3rd, he found himself back at home with grandma, mom, all that. And on November 4th, the next day, they had to get all the medications, start doing all those different things. So there's some things that happened on there. And I know the family is very upset right now with the facility. There could be a lot more going on there. But long story short, they had the meds on the next morning, and he took his doses as planned. Okay, he had morning doses, evening doses. He took the morning, no problem. At nighttime, hey, MX Big, welcome, welcome, welcome. After he took the nighttime dose, the evening dose, he started feeling weird. Okay, he started feeling, his mom mentioned, like he had like two tongues, his neck felt weird. Something was off. Something did not feel normal to him. So, grandma and him, he was with grandma at the time, mom was at work, called up mom and asked mom, okay, what, you have any ideas, things like that? Mom's like, do we need to go to the hospital? He did not want to get on the phone during this, so grandma was passing on the information. No, no need to go to the hospital at that time. And also, they hung up. That was the last time she heard from him. Little while later, 2 or so hours or so later, mom got a phone call from the police. This call from the police said that her son had disappeared. He and grandma had gotten in the car and they were on their way to the hospital, to the ER. They finally made the decision, yes, let's go to the hospital. This is important enough. We need to get to the hospital. So grandma, who's in her 80s, hey, Catherine. Oh, no problem, my dear. We got to get his story out. We got to get this story out, gang. So they decided to do what should have been done. Take him to the hospital, see what's going on with medications and all that. Well, as they came to a stoplight, he opened the door and jumped out of the car and went running. At that point, he started running towards the Holland Street Bridge. Again, grandma's 80 years old. She's limited in what she can do, but there was a wonderful, person out there on the street who was like, hey, okay, we're going to start trying to track. They were tracking him, and then they lost track of him. They could not find him at that point. Police were called in, and that's when the police ended up calling up mom to say, hey, FYI, your son has gone missing. This was November 4th, gang. Today is November 21st. Okay, it is cold right now. Those of you on the mainland, I'm sitting here in Hawaii. It's not that cold. But on the mainland, I've been following the stories. I've been talking to so many of you guys saying, oh, it's snowing right now, stuff. This is Michigan. It is cold. When he went missing, he was wearing a dark blue or black jogging pants, a black t-shirt, and slide flip-flops. Not sure if they were Croc types or just flip-flops, what we call slippers out here. But, gang, flip-flops, Crocs, slippers, whatever they are, those are not winter-type clothes. Those are not the shoes that you would be wearing when you go outside. Now, we can hope and we can pray that he found a place which was able to give him some shoes that were more comfortable. Okay, there are some great programs out there if you can get connected, and that's where our hopes and prayers are right now, that he has that. However, my big concern right now is family does think he's still in Saginaw. Okay, however, we all know as time goes on, there's always chance someone might jump in a car. Okay, or check a bus, get enough money where they can get on a bus, or so. We don't know where things can go. So our job right now is to share this out as far as possible. You guys know where Michigan is in the U.S. You can work out from there. Okay, yes, Catherine, right. Okay, going back to the bridge, gang. Okay, we don't know what happened once he was going towards that bridge. It was the type of bridge that was over water. Could he have jumped in the water? There's a very good possibility of that. There's a good possibility he could have kept running. There's so many possibilities, and those are where we all need to help support and try to get the word out as many places as possible. The police have been contacted, but as we all know, the police have so many different, we know what the numbers of disappearing are, and unfortunately, things do not get reported the way that we like things to get reported. Right now, I think there was one news station that is covering this, we need it covered on more news stations. Okay, we need to get the word out among different agencies there that might be taking care of people. Definitely looking for some ways that they can look within water. Okay, JP, you are thinking exactly what family is thinking. Okay, JP is still in the hospital. Mom herself is having a rough time right now. Okay, in listening to the news and everything with that, listening to people who have been talking with mom and all. Sorry. She is doing what we all, okay. When someone goes missing, the first thing that happens is it gets reported. If you're over a certain age, a lot of times that reporting becomes a different whole monster. Okay, because people are like, well, they're able to go off on their own or they're runaways. We get this even with 15, 14-year-old people. So police are looking on their level. They're looking at their procedures and all. But the thing is, we know here on channels that are covering people like Sleuth, people like Savage, okay, Burden of Proof, all that, that getting these pictures out means a huge amount because, the more people that see a picture on Instagram or Twitter, maybe we can cover more with NBC will pick it up, local NBC channel, or other things like that. I know the family right now, she herself is having to make decisions. Okay, there's not tons of people searching. Okay, and we know how searches go. It's a lot of people who, when they have a day here, a day there, they try to come in and search. But trying to coordinate that takes time. That takes a hell of a lot of time, gang. And when you're having to make a decision, do I coordinate, okay, for my missing child, or do I worry about having to pay the hotel that I'm living in right now? It brings in a whole different level of things. And I know there's a lot going on within the family, and I will update people as time goes on if programs get set up and all, if people are able to help out with that. Okay, thank you so much. By the way, Catherine, thank you so much for sharing all those. Okay, struggling with flyers, gas, warm gear to search. It is cold. Okay, gang, we have to look at all these things. No churches, and that's the thing. Churches are, so how can we help? We talk about this all the time within this community because a lot of families think that when someone goes missing, we see it the way that we see it when a 2-year-old child goes missing. You've got Amber Alerts, you've got police, FBI, all these things come together. The problem is, unfortunately, and I don't agree with this, and a lot of us don't agree with this, but we also know why it's happening this way because there are so many missing people out there right now. And basically, sorry, dog's barking again, it gets left in the community's hands. And the community comes together. And I see an amazing community right now in Saginaw right now. You've got a small group of people who are trying to come together and find ways to help out, find ways to search for him, get the word out to the different locations. Okay, Salvation Army, homeless shelters, anything like that that can be done. But whatever we can do, the better. Sorry, of course she's going to run that way right now. She wants my attention. And so I know so many of you guys want to help. That is, Catherine, thank you, because that was one of the things. Healthcare facilities, I'm a long-term care administrator. Okay, I work in long-term care, and I know mistakes do happen, and sometimes things happen, and that's amazing that they are coming forward and saying that. Cassie, come here. Let me see what I can give her to shut her up a little bit. And so what we can do right now is two-front, gang. Okay, we need to share Midonyis' story. This is not the case, as mom has come out and commented, this is not the case of a 21-year-old who, okay, You know, all those preconceptions we have in our head, okay, that we get, whether it's a runaway or, okay, whatever the issue is, it's not like that. He's been with his family the whole time. This is not, mom's worried, does he know how to even live on the streets this way right now? Like I said, when he ran, it was without even shoes that were able to protect him from the cold. So those are things that worry family because they want to make sure that he's healthy. He's safe right now in an area that is probably not, especially if he isn't getting medications right now. We know he needs medications. We know he needs medications. They started him on some. Okay, so he needs those medications, and without those, we don't know what could be happening. Hello, B. Tim. And he's a he's a very withdrawn child. He's been in his, that I was trying to mesh in mom because I knew he was staying in the basement of grandma's, but I wasn't sure if mom was there also. So that shows you it's not like he's been out there hanging out with people and creating a circle of friends that could be hiding him now or stuff like that. It's nothing like that right now. This is a 21-year-old who is right now fighting his own demons, trying to come out as the victor on top of that. And the family had been asking, exactly, Catherine, they'd been begging him to get the help, and he took that step forward. And he was like, okay, I can recognize now that I'm not having total control over my thoughts and stuff like this right now. It's time for me to get the help. And it's sad and frustrating to know that he was at that place and then all this happened after the release. It's just so sad that it all came out that way. So what we need to do right now is share. You guys, I've got in fact, let me pull up my Discord real quickly for y'all. I've got the posters on my Discord. So all you guys have to do is come over to Discord, download the posters, share those out. Okay, head over to Instagram, to Twitter, to Facebook. Share out his story. Okay, go and let people know. Okay, tag the local news stations so that they see your posts and they recognize there is a missing person out there whose family is struggling to figure out how they can do all this. They don't know, guys, there's no book written on how to approach having a child who's missing. Okay, there's assumptions in our heads on what we do, but there's no book written. And this is not the time that people need to be researching stuff and all. What they need is our help. So I know many of you guys, if you're in the Saginaw area, please contact me. I can get you in touch with the right people to make sure that if they do set up, and they are trying to do some searches, gang. They did it over the weekend. Okay, let me know because I can hopefully get you connected with the right people for that search. For those of you who are not where you can do searches, you share the pictures, you share his story. Okay, we've talked recently about how all of us have community pages on YouTube now. Put it on your community page. Couple of you guys with channels. Catherine is saying the medication prescribed was discontinued. Yes, I heard that. And as a healthcare professional, that made my, red flags. I was like, okay, wait, something's weird here with that. So hopefully they'll figure out what's going on within that also. But he only had the 2 doses of the medication, the morning and the night. So, he was, a little bit more, the PTSD and the paranoid schizophrenia. And he was, yes, there's so much. He is definitely, thank you. Okay, MX Big, you just pointed out some of the important things we need to know. He's going to stand out. I did try to get clarification on his height. Everything the family is sending out is saying 6'4", everything. There was one other poster sent out by a different organization that said 6 foot. But either way, if it is 6 foot, I will change that, but I'm pretty sure it is 6'4", Catherine. Okay, thank you. I had a feeling it was from what I'd heard, but I just wasn't positive. So 6'4", he's going to stand out. He's 6'4" and 150 pounds. So he's not only tall, he's very slender. Very slender. So that stands out very much. Very tall, and slender. That's a body type that definitely shows up even more in my eyes than the very tall and heavy set. Okay, that very tall, slender is very much easy to see. Other things with the hair. I have gotten different with the hair, his dreadlocks, and in fact, I think Catherine just wrote about it here too. Yes. Okay, perfect. And his dreadlocks look like a crown longer than the photo. So they've grown out a little bit. And because of how it's almost become like a crown at the top of his head. If we get new pictures, things like that sent, all of these, okay, we can always update photos. That's one easy thing we can do. So Catherine, thank you so much for sharing all this. Thank you so much. Let's just get the information out. Okay, if we find out more information over time on how we can help the family, I'll definitely help share that out as much as I can. Right now, we need to get people from the local news covering this. From my understanding today, there was a conference, it was family-led news conference. And if what I read was correct, and Catherine, you may or may not know this, the mayor was there. And if that's true, that's good. That's definitely a huge step forward. There is the question, Dog has a great question. Does he often go by his alias? I saw that Rico Santana, and I was wondering that also. Is that something he comes out with all the time? 25 and 5 did come. She and I were there. Okay, perfect, perfect. So, be careful. Yes, in the bushes, bingo. This is when our emails start up. Gang, this is when you sit down, you send the pictures out, you send the posters out, you do all those things. You sit down at your email and you start sending emails out to the news station saying, hey guys, there's a 21-year-old in your community who needs your assistance in getting his picture out. Can you please share his picture? Because that, honestly, so family knows, unfortunately, the news, 90% of the time, the reason why they're covering these people is because it's being pushed by community members. So we need to start pushing for this. So if you guys can truly help us with that, okay, let us know what we can do within things. Sorry, I'm keeping track on texts, messages at the same time. We just need to help get the information out. If I hear more channels, yeah, it's 16 days, and I wish more people had gotten connected with this. Hopefully, we can start getting things going. Dog Defender, yes, we know we have our certain people. We have a couple amazing people out there in the community who help support the missing. And I agree with that one. Sleuth Mom is another amazing person. We've got some great community members out there who try to help. We can't be out there to do the searches, so we try to find other ways. It was warm when he ran off. Okay, good. And that's good. That is good. I know there's concerns with the bridge. Okay, I don't know if it was busy at that time of day. But I can say this, if it was busy at that time of the day, someone may have seen him running. Someone may have seen, because for all we know, he may have tried running out in the street and someone had to hit their brakes or something. Someone out there may have seen something. We just got to find who that person is. And that's what all this is about when we do this. Yep, sleuth. Tag Brian Enton on Twitter as well. You guys know this. I mean, okay, right now, okay, Catherine and all are kind of seeing what we kind of try to do when we get a name and we can try to share it out. But there's an amazing group of people out there who can truly push, and hopefully we can catch some people. Dog just asked, Catherine, has anyone checked the shelters, churches? If it's cold, likely people will try to help anyone who is cold and underdressed. CCTV footage, that's a good point right there. Were there any businesses in the area that had CCTV? You did, okay, Catherine said they did go to soup kitchens and shelters. Okay, so that is. So you know what? It's coming up with ideas, and I know it's hard sometimes for the family because, okay, people will ask questions and they'll get asked the same question 5 or 6 times, and they're like, come on, how many times have I answered this? But every now and then it's that one question you're like, oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about that. So hopefully all this. Homeless huts were checked also. Okay, that's good to know. And you know what's great though, even with contacting people and checking with the homeless huts, is if they remember the picture, okay, of Midonyis, they know what he looks like. They know what to keep an eye out for, and which is great. So let's try to share out. If you got a community tab, please feel free, whether it's sharing this video or if it's just going to Discord and downloading it yourself. Again, if you don't, okay, if you can't get to my download it in any other way, please feel free to email me at thelocalmylife@gmail.com. I'll send them to you. I'll send them to you, whatever we need to do to get them to you. So just let us know. Exactly. Let me go back where I can highlight that one real quick. Yeah, we want to burn his image into the heads of everyone. Everyone who lives in Saginaw and anyone who is in other areas around. Because unfortunately, we don't know whether he may have headed to another city in the area or things like that. There's always hope everywhere. There's always hope everywhere. So what we have to do is keep it going as much. Yep, and JP is opening up his channel soon, so he'll have the ability to help out also. So, Dog, let's see. Sorry if I asked a question previously answered. No, Dog, you're good. You're good, my dear. Totally good, my dear. So let me take this down real quick because I do not want to cover the phone number while we're doing this. So there you go. Okay, so Catherine did. In fact, that was one thing I was thinking I needed to go take a look at. What are some surrounding areas? She mentions right now surrounding areas would include Bay City, Midland, Grand Rapids, Benton Harbor, Flint, and Detroit. So that's good. And we just keep pushing. I know that you guys have contacted the police and the police are working on stuff. And of course, the more his face gets out there and the more people are talking about him, the more that will help that also. Yep, exactly. Yeah. I've seen that, but sometimes it doesn't take the police to get it viewed. Yeah, sometimes we can get things viewed, pictures out there and all, without even utilizing the police. And let the police focus on what they need to get focused and make sure that they're talking with the family because the family does deserve that. Right now, though, we do whatever we can do to get the word out as much as possible. Hey, Catherine, that's great. I actually did send Catherine the link earlier just to let her know I was going to do this, but I do know she's busy because of work and stuff like that. And this, just so you know, Catherine, the way these work, this video will stay up. So the link is there for anyone who wants to come back and look at it. And later on, I'll send her a follow-up message afterwards. I just want to, in fact, I had sent her a message because I was trying to clarify that 6'4" versus 6 foot bit. Oh, thank you. You're clarifying for me. Thank you, Cristola. They mean the CCTV from the bridge store. There you go. Yeah, that actually might be. Did he leave his phone? I'm not sure if he had a phone, but if so, did he take it? If they did, okay, we definitely have the potential of police can look at pings and stuff like that. That's definitely true. Dog has a friend in Detroit. He's a drone pilot. I will ask him to share this. Yes. Thank you, dog. Thank you so much. And also, no phone. Okay. Thank you, Catherine. And you know what? One of the things we try to do here is we don't want, when we cover someone who's missing, we complain to each other about this all the time. It's so often we will cover something and then you don't hear about it for a while. But we'll keep bringing up this story. If there's anything, okay, family would like to share pictures, if there's going to be a time that they're going to be searching and we can get that out, that's what we use our community tabs for. All of this we use to try to help out wherever we can. And so the picture you used, he took with a phone. That's why. That's a good point. Actually, now I understand why you're asking, KK. He was using someone's phone for that selfie. That is true. That is true. Very true right there. So I'm hoping my prayer right now is he's found a group of people who are supporting him right now, helping him to the best of their ability. It is an older, I was wondering because you mentioned the hair is a little longer. And I noticed there were a couple other, let me see if I can pull up anything else. I thought I had one other picture that it had someone in it, and there's someone else in it, and I didn't want to share that picture without that person's approval. But if I get approval, I will definitely, and we'll share more things. Right now, it is getting cold, and this is the time that any of us, we talk about runaways. Okay, how so often the public in general think, oh, it's a runaway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it does matter. They're in just as much danger. Okay, they need to be home. Someone like Midonyis needs support. He's always had the support of his mom and grandma. Okay, there's an 80-year-old grandma who is waiting for him to come home right now. Okay, the guilt she probably feels right now of it happening in her car and all that. And she shouldn't have to feel that guilt because it's not her fault. But we know how all of us do. We know how all of us think. It'd be common to feel that, but no. But she needs to have him home so she herself can be at peace. His mom needs to be at peace, not having to worry about how am I going to pay my rent this month while also taking care of making sure I find my son. So if you guys can help me with that, you know what, dog? Honestly, that's a good point. Okay, should he be considered critical missing or silver alert? With that diagnosis, that is a good question. It's a fair question. I don't know the answer to it, but it is a very fair question right there. Good question whether he has any social media or anything like that. But that is definitely, dog, that's something family might be able to ask. Can they get a critical endangered? Okay, critical missing or silver alert or whatever they use in Saginaw. Can they get that release for him based off of his health issue? And so that's a great point. And Elizabeth is here. Yep, and Elizabeth, you got it. I'm preaching to the choir right here. Okay, runaways are at more danger than anyone. Okay, and that's why I get so upset when they're not treated the same way. There you go. He is like a child. Okay, childlike, not the average 21-year-old. No phone, no social media. Okay, so we just had our little talk, gang, a couple weeks ago about internet safety and stuff. This sounds like it'd be the type of person that we'd be protecting from the internet in those types of ways. Not saying he's talked to anyone or anything. That had nothing to do in this case. It's just they were on their way to the hospital to get some sort of reaction that was going on with his new medication taken care of. And when they did that, he jumped out of the car and he ran. There was a bridge in that area. So yes, divers, things like that. The other side is just getting the word out to as many people in that location and around there. Is there a way to share photos here? You would have to email or get them to me on Facebook. His mom has my Facebook. I can share that. If not, we can do a follow-up also. I have no problem. We can definitely, in fact, if there is anything that I give you my word right now, we'll do a follow-up if we need to. And if there's more photos and stuff you would like to share with me, again, here's my email address. If you can get those to me, then I will schedule a follow-up video to this. And we can, because I want to make sure we give him the right coverage so that we can get more coverage working. Okay, or at least try whatever we can do. That's our goal right now, is to try. So, thank you guys so much. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to head out to work myself right now. Those of you guys who have been around here know after the stream sounds wonderful. Oh, I see where you're talking about. You got it. I have to be at work in 30 minutes. And also I'm going to be heading out here in a few minutes, but we will do a follow-up to this once I'm able to talk to Catherine and all and see what else we can get photo-wise to share. And if there's updates or anything else we can do on that. So, hey, thanks, Elizabeth. We got our first dress rehearsal tonight. So we open up on Friday. Should be Thursday, but we got Thanksgiving, of course. Gang, I just said the word Thanksgiving. Let's do this. Our goal is to get him covered by more news stations, local news stations, before Thanksgiving. Wouldn't it be amazing if we can find a way to find him in time for there? But no matter what, let's see what we can get on the news. Start the emails. Let's start trying to push it and see what we can do. Okay. Catherine, thank you for popping in, because it really does make a difference for us when we can share up-to-date information on what's going on. It really does. And we get to know a little bit about who Midonyis is rather than a picture, because a picture doesn't state who a person really is. It really helps to get to see that. You got it, Andre. You use your mom's phone right now. I gotcha. And also, yep, prayers for Midonyis, prayers for his mom, prayers for his grandma. Please keep them in your thoughts, your prayers. Claudia. Okay, perfect. And please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And you know how we are. We always hope for that bit of good news after we share stories. So we're going to keep that and keep everyone in our thoughts and prayers. Hi, I just noticed Burden's here. Hello, Burden. Love you all, and I will talk to you later. Aloha. The dog says mahalo, and love you guys. Aloha and mahalo. Bye-bye. Bye.